Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in last three videos, we have completed permutation and combinations theory. Today we are going to solve previous year questions for permutation and combination, and this will be two-part video. Since there are like 22, 23 questions in total of permutation and combination, we are going to do half today and half in the next video, right? And this PPT is available on the Telegram channel. I would highly recommend you to download this PPT first, try to solve this question on your own, and then come back and look at the solution, right? So let's start with the previous year questions for permutation and combination. Now first question is, a selection is to be made for one post of principal and two posts of vice principal. So there is the post of principal and there are two posts, one and two posts for vice principal, and there are total 6 people who have come for the interview. Among those people, only 2 people are eligible for the post of principal. Means like suppose there are 6 people, only P1 and P2 are eligible for the post of principal, but they are all eligible for the post of vice principal. For the post of vice principal, who all are eligible? P3, P4, P5 and P6. I hope this is clear. Now, let's see. They say in how many ways you can make the selection, right? So let's start with the principal. Means I want to fill the seat of principal. I want to fill the seat of principal, right? And how can I do that? I have two candidates to choose from, and I have only one seat to fill. So 2C1. Why 2C1? Because their arrangement does not matter. That is why I am saying 2C1. If their arrangement matters, then it would have been permutation, right? So if you are not able to understand this thing, go back and watch last videos. You will be able to understand the difference between permutation and combination, right? So 2C1 is the, in how many ways you can select the principal 2C1, right? So what will it will be? It will be 2, 1, 1. That is 2. So there are two ways of selecting principal. It could be either P1 or P2, right? So these are the two ways. P1, either you can select P1 or you can select P2. Now moving on, in how many ways you can select vice principal? Vice principal, you can say you have 6 people to available people with you, and you have to select 2 people for the seat, 2 seats. But the problem is, one person has already been elected as a principal. So instead of 6 people, you have only 5 people left. So how many ways you can select the vice principal? 5C2. Why 5C2? Because one person has already been selected as a principal. So you have only 5C2 ways, right? So 5C2 means 5 people are available for you and you have to fill 2 seats. 5, 2, 3. To solve this, 5 into 4. So factorial 3 gets cancelled out 2. 5 2s are 10. So 10 and 2. So total number of cases is 2C1 multiply 5C2, that is 2 into 10, that is 20. So your answer is, there are 20 ways of selecting vice principal and principal. So answer is none of the above. I hope this is clear. Very basic question on combinations. Now moving on, next question is, a student has to select 2 subjects out of 5 subjects. So he has 5 subjects, C, E, S, M1 and M2. There are 5 subjects available to him and he has to choose 2 subjects. 2 subjects that student has to choose. There is one condition, mathematics 2 can only be offered if mathematics 1 is opted. If mathematics 2 is opted, then mathematics 1 has to be selected. Otherwise, you cannot opt for mathematics 2. Means if M2 is there, M1 has to be other subject. If M2 is there, M1 has to be the other subject. Why? Because it is written, if M2 is offered, only if M2 is selected as the other subject. You cannot select M2 without M1. So that is one case. You select mathematics 2 as one subject and mathematics 1 as first subject. Mathematics 2 and mathematics 1. This is the selection. One selection you can make. Second case is you do not select M2. See, if you select M2, then this is the only way. Why? Because if you are selecting M2, you can only select M1. Right? M1 and M2 is the only combination that is possible if you select M2. But if you don't select M2, then what are the subjects you have? C, E, S, M1. Right? So, there are only 4 subjects you have to select. So, out of these 4, how many selection you can make for 2 subjects? 4C2. 4C2 is 4, 2, 2. 4 into 3 by 2, that is 6. So there is, in case number 1, you have 1 way. In case number 2, you have 6 ways. So total number of cases, which rule will be applicable here? Addition or multiplication? Addition or multiplication. If you are not able to understand what addition or multiplication is, go and watch the first video on permutation and combination, you will understand. So to understand, either to do multiplication after this or addition after this, you just have to keep one thing in mind. If 2 cases are independent, independent means, will this case have any impact on case number 2? No. Why? Because I can select M2 and the other subject is M1. No implication on case 2. So these 2 cases are independent. So that is why you use addition principle. So that is 6 plus 1 total 7 ways in which it can be done. 7 ways. So answer is 7. Now other thing is, when multiplication will be used, when one case is totally dependent on the other case. When this is what you have seen in the last question, that selecting principal, only selecting principal and selecting vice principal are dependent on each other. Why? Because there are total 6 candidates. You select one person as principal, you are left with only 5 options. So both of these cases are dependent on each other. That is why we use multiplication. That is why we use multiplication rule here. Multiplication rule here. And in the second case, we use addition rule. Why? Because those 2 cases are independent of each other. Right? 2 questions are clear. Now till now we have revised 60% of what we have learned in the theory for permutation and combination, right? So that is why doing PYQs are very important. You get a direction of what type of questions could be asked to you in the exam. Moving on to the next question. There are 5 tasks and 5 persons. So there is task number 1, task number 2, task number 3, task number 4, task number 5. And again, direct application of combination or permutation. They are not going to ask you direct application of a combination or permutation. Counting principle is very important. Counting means you have to make the cases, you have to make the scenarios, and then only you can use combination and permutation formula. Don't expect that he's simply going to ask you to select 2 people out of 5 people or something like that. First, you make the cases. The visual representation is very important. The scenario should be very clear in your mind what has been asked in the exam, right? So let's start. First thing, there are 5 tasks and 5 people. Task 1 cannot be assigned to person 1 or person 2. This could be also the case of logical reasoning. This is like a riddle sort of thing. So let's see. Task 1 cannot be given to which all person? P1 and P2. This is clear. Task 2 must be assigned to P3 or P4. Either P3 or P4. Only these 2 people can do task 2. Right? And other people, there is no other condition. Right? Now, let's see. How many cases are possible? Case number 1, case number 2. Why case number 1 and case number 2? Let's see. Case number 1 and case number 2 is when T2 is being done by P3 and T2 is being done by P4. Only these 2 cases are possible for T2. So that is why we are making 2 cases. So in first case, T2 task number 2 is being done by person number 3. Who all can do task number 1? We have option of P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. P3 is doing task number 2. P1 and P2 cannot do task number 1 because that is a condition. Who all can do? Either P4 can do it or P5 can do it. Right? I hope it is clear. Now two people can do, either P4 can do it or P5 can do it. And now let's see, again I'm writing it here: P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. P3 is doing task number 2. Suppose P4, either one of these, is doing task number 1. How many people do can task number 3? 3 people, right? Either P1, P2, P5. Means 3 people are available to you who can do task number 3. So one person is again gone. How many people are left for task number 4? 2 people, or 2 ways. And task number 5, 1 way. I hope this is clear. Now, the second case is when P4 is doing the task. When P4 is doing the task, I am going to make this quick. When P4 is doing the task, P1 cannot do task number 1, P2 cannot do task number 1, P3 can do task number 1, or P5. Right? So if this is the case, there are 3 people available to do task number 3, 2 people available for task number 4, and 1 people available for task number 5. So these 2 cases are available to you, where you have case number 1 and case number 2, right? Now let's see case number 1. Case number 1. So how many ways of in how many ways are there in case number 1? We have, first option means task number 1, we have 2 people to do the task. Task number 2 can be done by 1 person, that is P3. Task number 3, 3 people, 2 people, 1 people, 1 person. So that means 2 into 3 into 2 means 12 ways of doing case number 1. So here we have 12 ways. And if you solve this for case number 2, you all again get 12 ways, right? 12 ways and 12 ways. I hope this is clear. How we have 12 in case number 2? If you want, I can show you. Case number 2 will be, case 2 will be 2 into 1 into 3 into 2 into 1. Again 12 ways. I hope this is clear. Now which will be applicable, addition rule or multiplication rule? There will be additional rule. Why? Because these two cases are independent of each other. They are not dependent on each other. Means case number 1 when P3 is selected, and case number 2 when P4 is selected, they are totally independent thing. They are not dependent on each other. So that is why our total 24 is the answer. That is option number C. I hope this is clear. Why addition rule? Again, go back and watch the last videos. When two cases are not dependent on each other, we use addition rule. When two cases are dependent on each other, then we use multiplication rule, and that is the case, right? Moving on. Next question. Again, very interesting question. In a society, it is customary for a friend of same sex to hug and for opposite sex to shake hands. Means a male will give a hug to each other, a female will give a hug to each other, but a male female or female male will always handshake, and here they will hug each other. Now a group of men friends meet in a party and there were 24 handshakes. Now if there were 24 handshakes, then obviously these handshakes were done by one male and one female. One male and one female, the total the handshake was done by a male and a female, right? Now suppose I ignore this question. I ask you, you have 3 male and 2 female, 3 males and 2 female, male 1, male 2, male 3, and 2 female is female 1 and female 2. How many handshakes are possible? Male 1 can do handshake with female 2, oh sorry, female 1 and female 2. Male 2 can do the handshake with these 2 people and these 2 people. So there are total 6 ways, right? Or you can say number of males into number of females gave you the total number of handshake that was possible between male and female, right? So number of male and number of female multiplication gives you the total number of handshakes. So M is the total number of male, F is the number of females, you get 24 handshakes. So males and females multiplication is 24, right? This is what we know, right? Now how many males and how many females are there? So males could be, either there could be 12 males and 2 female, or other cases Either we can have 8 males, 8 males and 8 3 are 24, so 24 females, or we can have 6 males and 4 females and so on, right? So these cases are possible. Means 12 males and 2 female. 12 into 2, 24. 8 males, 3 females. So this could also be 24. 6 males and 4 females. This could also be 24, right? So let's take the case number 1. 12 males and 2 females. 12 males and 2 females, right? What do we have here? Now how many hugs are possible? When hug is done between male and female and female, so 2 females, we are selecting 2 females out of 2 female, that is the number of hugs that could happen between females, plus 12 males, and 2 males are selected out of 12 males. So that is the number of hugs that could happen between males, and this is the number of hugs that could happen between females. You check the number, whatever your answer you will get, you check, is it one of these? If not, then 12 males and 2 female is not the answer. You can check. Why I am saying this? Because I know 12C2 is a very big number. This is not going to be 39, 39, 30, 21 or 20. So just by looking at it, I am just saying that this is not the answer, right? You can solve it if you want, but you want कि इनमें से you get one answer out of these 4. Let's say second case. Case number is 8 males and 2 females. So now, how many 8 males and 3 female? So how many hugs there will be happening between females? 3C2 plus how many hugs will be happening between males? 8C3, 8C2, and you will again try to find, and let's see if answer is between these two, if not, then this is again not the answer. I hope this is clear. If you are able to reach any of the answer, may say 39, 30, 21 or 20, that is the answer. But still, why I am still ignoring this? Because I know 8C2 is a very big number. So this could still not be the answer. Better check something else. So 33rd will be, I select 6 males and 4 females. Right? This is the third option. 6 males and 4 females. So number of hugs happening between male is 62. 4C2 is happening between females. Let's see if this is the answer. 6, 2, 4 plus 4, 2, 2. You solving first, you will get 6 into 5 divided by 2 plus 4 into 3 divided by 2. So this is 15 and this is 6. So you will get 15 plus 6 as 21. So 21 is the answer. Right? Again, I would say this is a hard question. Will not click you directly in the exam. So don't worry even if you leave this question in the exam. This is a hard question. But since now you know the solution, if a similar question come in the future, you should not leave it. If it is a totally new question, believe me, it's going to be new for every candidate. But now if a similar question comes, 50% of students have honestly tried or solved this question before the exam. So they will be at a benefit, right? So you be that person. Now the concept is clear. If any future question, such question come in the exam, you surely attempt it. If such bouncers are given to you in the exam, suppose a totally hard question is given to you in the exam, believe me, not even 5 to 10% of the people would have able to attempt this question in the exam in 2015. They must have left it. Other people must have left it. So don't worry. Hard question, don't run behind hard question. Always try to maximize your score. That should be the target for you, right? Moving on, next question. In a question paper, there are 5 questions. So there are 5 questions in the exam. Question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, question number 5. Right? So all the options have either the answer could be true or false. True, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. Only these 2 answers are possible. There is no other answer. Suppose no two candidates have a similar pattern. Means if one candidate is writing true, 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 the next candidate could not have given this answer. His five answer would look like true, 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 false. Third candidate would have answered like true, false, false, true, something like this. So everyone has given a unique pattern of answers. I hope this is clear. Now let's move to the next line. For what is the maximum number of candidates possible? Maximum number of candidates means how many ways of writing this answer sheet, right? So in how many ways you can answer question number one? Two. How many ways answer you can question number two ways of answering question number two. There is two ways of answering two ways of this, two ways of this. Now, since all questions are dependent on each other. Why? Because if suppose if person one is answering true in first case, again he can answer true in second case. But if that is the case, true is the first case, no other candidate could write true. He is dependent on what first person has answered, right? Suppose my first sheet look like true. Other person cannot write true. Why? Because he has to rely on what candidate first has written. So his answer could be true, false. So all are dependent answer 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. So our total 34 type of answers or total 32 patterns of answers could be formed. So answer is 32, right? I hope this is clear. Moving on, very basic question, just the counting principle, that how many ways you can fill question number 1, question number 2 and then multiply all. Moving on, there are 4 horizontal lines and 4 vertical lines, right? Parallel and equidistant to one another, how many number of rectangles and squares can be formed? So, to form a rectangle or square, what do you need? You need 2 horizontal lines and you need 2 vertical lines. That's all we need. We need 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines. That's all we need, right? So let's say, what do we need? We need 2 horizontal lines. So how many ways you can choose 2 horizontal lines? There are 4 horizontal lines given to me. I can choose 2 horizontal lines. Then what? Then how many ways I can choose? What do I need? I need 2 vertical lines. So that is 4C2, right? I hope this is clear. Now 4C2 into 4C2 is, this is number of ways I have to select horizontal lines. This number of ways I have to select the vertical lines, and then since both are dependent on each other, means which line I choose, and that will decide my vertical line. So everything is dependent on each other. I use multiplication principle. So number of ways of choosing horizontal line multiply number of ways of choosing vertical line or horizontal line. So this is 4C2 means 4, 2, 2 multiply 4, 2, 2. So what will I get? I will get 4 into 3 by 2 multiply 4 into 3 by 2. So this will 6 into 6, that is 36 ways. So 36 total number of square or rectangle I can form using these lines, right? Again, very similar question. So what we have done till now, right? Moving on to the next question. Now let's make it quick. Now there are 24 equidistant space points on the circumference of a circle. Suppose this is a circle and there are 24 equidistance points. So suppose this is 4 equidistance point, right? 4. How many I need between each of this point and this point? So every quadrant means every this much part should be having like 6. Right? Am I doing that? Yeah, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I hope this is clear. I'm just marking it. This is yeah. So this is how the 624 equidistance point looks like, right? Now they say I have to make equilateral triangle in this. Equilateral triangle, how can you make equilateral triangle? To form an equilateral triangle, you need, this is the equilateral triangle, right? So to form an equilateral triangle, here you need 120 degree here, 120 degree here, and 122 degree here. Means from center, you need 120 degree, 120 degree, 120 degree on each side, right? Now tell me, if there are total 360 degrees the total circle between 2 points. So there are how many points there? 360 by how many points there are in total? 24. So there, so every 2 points means from going from point number 1 to point number 2, there is a gap of 15 degree. From point number 2 to point number 3, there is a gap of 15 degree. 3 to 4, 15 degree, and so on. So every 2 points have a degree difference of 15 degree. I hope this is clear. Second point, 15 degree, 15 degree, so on is the gap between each point, right? So to make 120, to make 120 degree here, how many points will I need? So between 2 points, between this point and this point, there is a gap of 15 degree. How many points do I need to have a total of 120 degrees? I will need 8 points. Means 15 into 8 is 120. So I will need 8 points. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8. So total 8 points will be needed to make one side of equilateral triangle. So this is one side of equilateral triangle, and this is another side of equilateral triangle, and this is another side of equilateral triangle. So means 8 points are possible for me. 8 points are possible for me to make one side of equilateral triangle, right? So 8 points here, 8 points here, 8 points here, and 8 points here, right? Suppose I start from here. This is equilateral triangle number 1. Second equilateral triangle will look like this, something like this. So it will start from here. Third equilateral triangle will start from here. Fourth will start from here. Fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Once you reach 8, it will be the same as the first equilateral triangle. So that is why how many ways, how many equilateral triangles could be made, or how many unique equilateral triangles could be made? 8 unique equilateral triangles could be made. Because after 8, if you rotate it, suppose first point, that is the equilateral triangle number 1, I rotate it by 15 degree, that is the second equilateral triangle. I rotate it again by 15 degrees, third equilateral triangle. I rotate it again, the fourth equilateral triangle, and so on. Once you reach point number 8, point number 8 will have the same shape as point number 0. Or I could say point number 1 and point number 9 will have the same equilateral triangle. So there are total 8 equilateral triangles possible in this case. This question made use of counting as well as geometry. So both of these concepts were used in this question. Again, from my side, it is a medium question. I would say like 30 or 40% of students would have got it right, or would have clicked in their mind in the exam. Why? Because time is limited. This things does not come up intuitively, right? So you need to invest a lot of time, and that luxury is not there in the exam. So don't worry, even if you are not able to do this, you had solved other part, you are good to go. Don't worry, right? Next question. There are 6 colors available to choose from. So how many colors are there? 6 colors, and you have to color 3 blocks. Block number 1, block number 2, and block number 3 has to be painted so that no two of them has the same color. Now, as I've already told you, this B1 and B2 should not have a same color, or B2 or B3 should not have a same color, right? Or B1 or B3 means all should be different colored. Now, I have 6 color to choose from. I can choose 3, or 6 color to choose from. I can permutate 3. Which one is right in this case? Either 6C3 or 6P3. The answer is 6P3. Why? 6P3, because there the position of the color matters. Why? Because the block number 1 is a bigger block, block number 2 is a smaller block, block number 3 is a even smaller block. So which block we are painting, the position of the color matters, or arrangement of the color matter. And that is what we have learned in the video of permutation, where arrangement of the block matter, then it is important, then it is permutation case. Suppose they have simply asked you, there are 6 colors available to you, choose any 3 colors of your choice, then the combination would have come up. But now the choosing 3 colors is important, as well as their arrangement is also important. So you will use permutation in this case. So the answer is 6p3. So to solve this, this will be 6, 3, 6 into 5 into 4. So you will get as answer 120, 120 ways of painting this scenario, right? I hope this is clear. 6p3, why? Because the arrangement of the color also matters. Choosing color is not only important, you have to paint the blocks as well, and their arrangement matters. So that is 6p3. Now, this question, suppose we have sufficient amount of 1, 10 and 50. So 1x plus 10y plus 50z is equal to 107. How many ways this can be done? This is we have done in the videos of linear algebra. We have already solved this question. You can go there, go back and watch this video, or you can comment in the comment section. I will solve this in the next video. But since we have already solved this, I'm not going to invest time on this question again. This is a good question, and we have already solved in the video when we were doing PYQs of linear algebra, right? Now moving on, next question. How many different sums can be formed using 50, 100, 200, 500 and 2000? I am saying A means 50, B is 100, C is 200, D is 500 and E is 2000. How many ways sum could be made by taking at least 3 denomination at a time? It means I use 50 rupees plus 100 rupees, that is 150. But 150 is not the possible. Why? Because we have to pick at least 3 denomination. I could pick like 50 plus 100 plus 200. This is right. 50 plus 200 plus 500 plus 2000 is also right. I need at least 3, not less than 3. I need at least 3 and not less than 3. So they have said you have to pick at least 2 denominations. So let's see. First thing, out of 5, I have to choose 3. For choosing 3 out of 5, I have 5c3. Means choosing 3 denomination out of 5, I have 5c3. Choosing 4 denomination out of 5, I have 5c4. Using 5 denomination out of 5, I have 5c5. Just doing the summation means this case is independent. So that is why we are using additional rule. Solving this, you will get 5, 3, 2 plus 5, 4, 1 plus 5, 5, 0. So solve this and you will get the answer. If you want, I can solve this. First is 5, 4 by 2 plus 5 plus 1. You will get 10 plus 5 plus 1, that is 16 ways. So 16 is the answer. Believe me, permutation and combination is tricky. You will not be able to solve the permutation combination probability question in the exam easily. Why? Because it takes time, and the solution does not come to you intuitively. So that is why I have already always said focus on 3 main topics: number system, arithmetic and algebra. Other topics, do all the question once and don't worry. The main 3 topics are going to give you the marks. These questions are going to give you the edge. That is the difference. Those 3 topics are going to give you the marks to clear the cutoff, but these questions are going to give you the edge. Edge means if you are not able to solve verbal ability, these questions here and there, if you are able to solve like 2 questions out of 5 questions of permutation and combination, is surely going to help you. That is why we are doing permutation and combination. But again, those 3 mega topics or main topics are important as per the exam goes, right? Now moving on, this is the question, and if you have seen the video, this question will come to you. the intuitively. Why? Because they say, let's read how many different ways of 5 letter word can be formed by using the letter of Delhi with first letter as D and last letter as I. So I have, what is this? So I, so yeah, so I have D and I in the start and the end, and I have to fill 3 spaces with 3 letters. 3 spaces means 3 spaces with 3 letters. So what is the case here? If you are not able to recall this, go and watch combinations video. We have already solved this such type of question. So means with the first and last letter fixed, we can either form as D E L H I or H E L or E H L and so on. So how many ways of filling these 3 positions? That is factorial 3. We have already solved in the lot of questions when we were doing the theory. So factorial 3 is 3 into 2. That is 6 ways. So answer is 6 ways. That is the answer. I hope this is clear. So that completes our part 1 of permutation and combination. Today we have solved around 12 questions of permutation and combination. Again, I've already told you, make sure you solve all the previous year questions. Your basics are clear, and in the exam try to solve at least 2 questions out of 5, means 20 or sorry 40% of the questions in permutation combination, right? But when it comes to algebra, arithmetic and number system, you cannot afford to miss questions, a lot of questions there. So if you are in those topics, you have to do like 80% of all the questions from those topics. But here you can do even 40% of the all the questions that will come in the exam, and you will be in a good position, right? So that completes our part 1 for previous year questions video. In the next part, we are going to do the remaining questions for permutation and combination. Until then, best of luck, and you can download this PPT from the channel. Okay, see you in the next video.